There you go. Working a daisy chain here. Come on, meet him halfway. There you go. Now I'll jump back in the loop. So it goes from him to him to him. Yay, daisy chain, working as a team. Nice young mullein plant there. And what's great about this particular plant is that it has been growing where there is not a lot of road traffic, so it's not contaminated by vehicle exhaust. Hi, thanks for tuning in to my channel. Got my friend kicking it over here. So today behind me is their garden that they did corn and yellow squash and carved the big yellow squashes into like pumpkins, but it's yellow squash instead. It's very creative. So today I wanted to talk about if you live in like the plains area or the desert, like where I am now. The people here back in the early 80s did a fantastic thing to stop the wind from knocking down all their stuff. They created a natural windbreak, and I wanted to show that to you. So let's have a look. This is the exterior to what they call the backyard. And they used fir trees, such a clever idea, to block the wind and protect the trees inside the yard. Oh, just to change the subject really quick, got a walnut tree here, so I look forward to harvesting. Look at all those walnuts. And they have a few baby walnut trees too, so that little sucker is the walnut tree, and these little suckers are walnut trees. And so yes, walnut is a fantastic winter food. So the lady that built this yard in the sagebrush desert built it for all the colors. So she put a lot of maple, oak, there's fir trees and pine trees, and cottonwood, I think is what it's called. Mulberry they also planted, and some willow trees. You've probably seen those in potentially in one of my other videos, and if you haven't, you'll see them eventually, because this is where I'm filming and this is where it's going to be. So yeah, she also did crab apple and regular apple. Just a really good idea. So we're gonna take her idea and expand it. And all of the trees that I showed you in the last clip were all very small when in the early 80s when they planted them. They were very small. So in just 35 years they are, 15, 20, 30 feet tall, and they're a fantastic windbreak, and it's just such a lovely idea. Let's see on the other side of the wall here. This is inside the wall that I just showed you. This is a pine tree, which I'm really excited about for the pine nuts rather, and then the rest of the yard. We are not raking up the leaves because it is important for the insects, which is important to the food chain. So she's got some wild rose that they brought from back east in 47 when this ranch was established. And that plant, of course, is very high in vitamin C. And, it's... So she did do some good stuff, and then some stuff that I wouldn't have done, but at the same time I completely understand why she did it, because now we get an array of beautiful fall colors thanks to her brilliant color scheming and planting ideas. And so that's the old gate that needs to be fixed. But the water has a watering system underground so that this can stay nice. So we got fir, pine, fir, crabapple, fir. Don't know what that hardwood is. And then another fir. And then over here, pine trees. Pine trees right there. And then that's a giant blackberry bush. So really brilliant idea. We're going to take that idea and expand it. And let me show you something else that I find exciting and thrilling. In this space, there are 3 trees that would make good bases for a tree house, which of course we won't nail anything into the tree. We'll leave a gap for more tree growth, but fun things can be done with this space. Sandbox at the bottom, and then at least 2 stories, if we can get that fancy. And we were thinking some kind of rope bridge to go to this giant tree that was put here in the early 1900s, which is why it takes 3 people to wrap all the way around it. Very big tree. And then its suckers are right here and here. So really, we could do some bridges and connections. The goal is to make this ranch fun and interesting for generations to come, so that the inheritors behind the current inheritor will enjoy the land, take care of the land, because it is about the land and not about how much money you could sell it to a developer. This land has a lot of amazing history, and we are trying to preserve it and make it into an oasis for birds, for deer, and other, animals can have a good balance, a good resting place for all life, because when you do that, it's good for all life everywhere. And so, yeah, thank you for watching. One more thing I wanted to mention is these pine trees and the fir trees produce sap, which has a bunch of benefits, starting fires, glue, and a bunch of other benefits. You can do your own research to find out what those are. So always good to, if you have land you can improve upon, or that you're going to keep and pass down to next generations, it is a really good idea to make this tree part of your gift to your children or whoever you're passing your property down to. So I am in luck. Pine cones, which means pine nuts. However, I think that these have already been gotten and spread out, but it's good to know for later. Oops, sorry you guys. Here is a closer look at the garden that they did this year. They didn't have a whole lot of time to really make this a little more organized. And since I have experience, I've presented them with some ideas that will help next year's garden be easier to manage and less stressful, and also more attractive and easier to protect from wildlife that comes in here and gobbles it up. And that is yasai, which or shiori. Shiori, it means wild in Japanese, or yasai means wild in Japanese. And that is that cat's name. We gave them all Japanese names. All these wonderful fall colors. Eric's mom sure was brilliant. Being from Ohio, she knew what trees were needed so that there would be a beautiful fall. And here comes Shiori Asai, the other kitten that we know for sure. That one's not so hiboshi, which means lullaby. Hiya, Shiori. Or, well, you're just plain kitty. This is the most unfriendly one. That's why we named her Wild. I think she's looking for her sisters. They all came from the same place. I knew the kids wanted kittens because one of the oldest one had his own cat and the other three wanted kittens. So we went to the place there we got the peacocks from, and the guy said, have as many kittens as you want. So I got the boys 3. 3 for free. Here is the apple tree, and then it grew a second one grew on its own right there. That one's considerably younger. Smells like apples over here. It's delicious. Got lilacs. I believe that's what they're called. I'll have to see when they bloom. But let's go through the magic path here. So, lovely trunk. I've brought the squirrel to play here. And it's easy to climb. We're going to be cleaning it up a little bit over the winter. When it's dormant, that's the best time to clip your fruit trees. And then we'll have even better quality fruit. For being wild, you sure are following me around a lot.